Hello students, I am sure you have started your preparation in full earnest for the upcoming maths board exam. I had earlier sent you a list of formulas to be done. I hope you've seen that video. So this is in continuation with this, that what are the questions that we are expecting. Remember, your NCERT is the most important book for a CBSE examination. Kindly do not neglect the textbook. That is of prime importance that you do the NCERT thoroughly, including the solved examples. There are many students who do only the exercise and they do not do the solved examples. So let me go through this entire book so that it will help you. Then in the last minute revision, we have only a few days left now before the maths exam that is scheduled. And therefore, it becomes important for you to understand the important questions, because each and every question, it may not be possible for you to do at this stage. I am sure you must have already gone through the questions earlier, but now it's revision time of the most important and expected type of questions. So I am going to go through the first chapter to the last chapter so that you will be able to understand what is important and the most important and the most expected questions for this year, that is 2024. Now here we have the first chapter here, that is starting with the fundamental theorem of arithmetic given by Carl Friedrich Gauss, also known as the Prince of Mathematicians. And you should be knowing what the fundamental theorem of arithmetic is. Okay, so every composite number can be expressed as a product of prime numbers, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. Please go through the statement of this, that every composite number, suppose you have a composite number 6, that can be written as 2 into 3, right? Or 3 into 2. The order doesn't matter, right? So that's what the fundamental theorem of arithmetic says. And using the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, questions to find HCF and LCM may be asked, right? So we need to know that formula HCF into LCM is equal to product of the numbers, that is first number into second number, right? So here, the first thing, the prime factorization, those who are not familiar with the prime factorization should go through that on a priority basis and do all the questions based on HCF and LCM. Because earlier there was a topic, fundamental, besides fundamental theorem of arithmetic, there was Euclid's division algorithm, that is cancelled. So definitely you are going to get a question based on HCF and LCM. So here, the first exercise deals with that. So the questions based on HCF and LCM and the verification is important. So here we have question number 2, find HCF and LCM and verify that LCM into HCF is product of the two numbers. This question is important. And here we have questions based on HCF, LCM. Here, explain why this is a composite number. So you have to solve this and find out more than two factors exist, then that means it's a composite number. Prime number means only one and itself. Here we'll have more than two factors for composite number. So that's the important questions in the first exercise. Moving further in the second exercise, very, very, very important. This is definitely going to come proving of a number irrational. Please go through this, prove how to prove root 2, root 3, root 5 irrational. It's going to be an important question for this year, and it has come every year. So please make sure that you are doing a proving of numbers irrational, which means this number proving root 5, root 2, they can change the numbers in any format. So proving of a number irrational, this is very, very important question. So chapter 1, we have two things important, that is fundamental theorem of arithmetic, finding HCF, LCM. And secondly, very, very important, how to prove a number irrational. Moving on to polynomials, the 1 mark question can come from the first exercise, that is identify the number of zeros from the graph. So how do we know that zeros exist? It depends on the number of times the graph intersects the x-axis. If it's a polynomial in x, so here there are two zeros, two zeros. If it doesn't intersect at all, then no zeros. Here it is touching this at 1 point. So here the polynomial has 1, 0. So this is a question. A graph need not be drawn. You will already be given the graph. So here we have 3 zeros for this polynomial. So it's a 1 mark question. You can question only 1 mark question from the first exercise. Second question exercise is very important for you. Kindly do the factorization by splitting the middle term and the identities, all the identities, because here you have to find out the zeros of the polynomial and also do the verification. So question number 1 is very important here. That is, find the zeros of the quadratic and verify the relation between the zeros. So here this question number 1 part 3 is important because here this is not in rearranged form. You have to rearrange it. This is the normal standard form of a quadratic polynomial. Here you see the x is here. So we need to rearrange this first and then split the middle term. Find out zeros which are represented by alpha and beta. And then you have to use the verification formula. Alpha plus beta is minus b by a. And the second verification formula is alpha beta is c by a. Right? So this question is important. And here we have to find a quadratic polynomial. The sum and product are given. In the exam, alpha and beta may be given. So you'll have to use the formula x square minus the sum of the roots x plus product of the roots to find out the quadratic polynomial. In this case, alpha and beta are not given. The directly sum and product are given. So we will use the formula x square minus sum x plus product, right? So here, these two questions can be asked for 2 to 3 marks. If the verification is asked, that will come for 3. Otherwise, it's a normal alpha beta question. Then that means it will be 2 marks. Then we come to chapter 3. That is linear equations. Now, in linear equation, the conditions are very important. Kindly go through these conditions in table 3.1. If a1 by a2, b1 by b2, and c1 by c2 are compared, if a1 by 2 is not equal to b1 by b2 is intersecting lines. And when we draw the graph of this, it's going to be intersecting lines, and this is called unique solution. Unique solution. A1 by 2 not equal to b1 by b2. If all are equal, then they will be coincident lines. That means one line on top of the other. This will have infinite solutions. And if a1 by 2 is equal to b1 by b2, not equal to c1 by c2, it will have parallel lines, and parallel lines never intersect, so no solution. This is very, very important. You will get a question definitely on this. And without drawing the graph, you will be able to interpret this if you know a1, a2, b1 by b2, and c1 by c2, compare their ratios. So kindly go through this condition. Nobody should forget these 3 conditions because they are very important. Next, we go to the exercise here. In the exercise, remember, there is one word that is mentioned as consistent and inconsistent. Now, kindly note the meaning of consistent and inconsistent. Now, here, this is consistent or inconsistent. Here, remember, unique solution and infinite solutions. Both these are consistent. So either we get a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, or a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 equal to c1 by c2. All of them are equal. Then also it is called infinite. And then if it is infinite, it comes unique. So what is this? If it is infinite, it will be consistent. So unique solution and infinite solution both are consistent, whereas no solution, when you have no solution, that is inconsistent. So please go through that. Again, based on the conditions. Then we have graphs here. This is an important question here. Draw the graph. So when you are plotting the graph, remember to take minimum 3 points. In some books, they are telling you to take 2 points. But the problem with 2 points is that 2 points will always come in a line. If there are 3 points, it is a good way of checking whether your points are right, because 3 points may or may not come in a line. So kindly do not take 2 points. For this, you will take 3 points. For this, you will take 3 points. And then what is going to happen? You have to shade the triangle that is formed with the x-axis. So this is the x-axis. This is the triangle that is going to be formed with respect to the x-axis. If it was y-axis, then this would have been the triangle. So read the question whether you have to shade the triangle with respect to x-axis or y-axis. So question number 7 is important. Then solving of linear equation, please remember elimination and substitution. Both the methods you should know. In the earlier books, there was cross multiplication method, which is now deleted. Kindly do not do the questions by that. So doing by substitution method, this is important. And doing by elimination method is important. So both the methods you should know. And in case you have doubts, then the videos are separately made chapter wise. You need to go through that. And then we have the elimination, I told you. this elimination and substitution, both these methods, questions can be given and you can solve this. Then we have the word problems. Please remember this word problem on digit interchanging is very important. Whenever we have a digit interchanging question, kindly go through that. There is also a solved example in this chapter, digit interchange. Please do that. So that's chapter 3. So we have the 3 conditions. We have the word problem, elimination, substitution, and the graph. So 5 things you need to do. Then we go to question number 4. In question number 4, first of all, we need to identify a quadratic 1-mark question. A quadratic equation is an equation where the degree of that is 2. The degree of the equation is 2. It cannot be 3. It cannot be less than 2. It cannot be more than 2. It has to be exactly 2. So this can come as a 1-mark question. Question number 2, this last part, speed, distance, time is important. Kindly go through this and try to get the equation. Then so the second exercise is quite easy. That is factorization by splitting the middle term or by use of identities. This is quite easy. So this type of question you have done in polynomials as well. The only thing here is that we are equating it to 0. Now, the most important thing here is to find out the nature of the roots. Now, to find nature of the roots, we have to find the discriminant. The formula for discriminant is b square minus 4ac. Please go through these 3 conditions. Definitely, you will get a question on this. If the value of the discriminant b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, you will get 2 distinct real roots. That means you will get 2 answers which are different from each other. If d is 0, that means b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, then you will get 2 answers which are exactly equal, identical. And if d is less than 0, b square minus 4ac is less than, then you will have unreal roots. So we don't have to solve these kind of questions. So this is called discriminant. And if you know the discriminant, you will be able to find the nature of the roots. So you are going to get a question based on discriminant and nature of roots. Then we go to the exercise. In the exercise, again, here the nature of the roots, this we have already discussed. This is important, finding the value of k for which they have 2 equal roots. So you are going to start with the condition that b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. And these 2 parts you should do, right? And here also, please remember, when you are finding the nature of the roots, if real roots, find them. Finding roots, you will have to use the formula minus b plus root d by 2a, and beta is minus b minus root d by 2a. These are the 2 roots of the quadratic, right? So kindly go through the nature of the roots. And then this word problem, question number 4, sum of the ages of 2 friends. This is important, question number 4. Then we come to the next chapter. So I'm going through only the most important things, okay? Because I understand that time limitations are there and we are discussing only the most expected because full NCERT cannot be done at this stage. So I'm telling you the most important so that you can cover at least 70 to 80% of your paper with this. You know, the 20% of the paper will be odds or higher order or we'll have competency based, case based. That is separate, okay? So we are discussing the basic things that you have to do so that you get at least 80%. So here we go through the arithmetic progression. You should know what an arithmetic progression is. Identify arithmetic progression. This is all 1-mark questions. So in the first exercise, you will have 1-mark questions. How to find out whether it's an AP, how to find the common difference first term. First term is represented by A and common difference is, remember, A2 minus A1, 1 minus 3, negative 2. So these are all 1-mark questions from the first exercise. Then we go to the first important thing, that is to find the nth term of an AP. We are going to use the formula an is equal to a plus n minus 1d. This is the formula, nth term, a plus n minus 1d. This is the formula that you have to remember. And remember, without formulas, this chapter cannot be done. So here we have this example 4, which is important. Which term of this AP is negative 81? So this is my an. A is 21. Common difference is negative 3. I'm going to find n as 35. So remember, this n can always be only a positive whole number. Do not get n in fractions and decimal. That means you're doing wrong. Or it is not part of the series at all, right? Then we have this example 5. These examples are 5 is important. Third term is 5, seventh term is 9. Find the AP. So kindly mark this example 5 as well. check whether 301 is a term of this. So here, when I'm finding out n, I'm getting a fraction. So that means it's not part of the series. Example 5 also important. Example 7. This is example 6. In example 7, how many two-digit numbers are divisible by 3? Okay, two-digit number starting with 12, 15, and the last three-digit number, two-digit number divisible by 3 is 99. So here you can find out by using an is a plus n minus 1d, we will have 30 numbers. So question example, these are all very, very important examples. People neglect the examples, but these are very important. Find the 11th term from the last, very, very important. Last term, not from the beginning, from the end, the last term from the end. So what you can do is reverse the series and actually find out the 11th term from the beginning. So you can just reverse the series. So you have minus 62 and 4, 7, 10 like this. And then you can find the 11th term, that is a plus 10d. So a will be negative 62 and common difference 10 minus 7. That's going to be 3. You will get the same answer. So example 8, very important. That is finding from the last. Example 9, many of you have forgotten the formulas of simple interest, PRT by 100. Go through this so that you don't mess up with these kind of questions where simple interest is asked. So here, all the examples are important. Example 10 also, please go through that. Then we have the exercise. In the exercise, we have question number 10, which is important. 17th term exceeds the 10th term by 7. This is important. Then these kind of question, how many three-digit numbers are divisible by 7? How many multiples of 4 lie between 10 and 250? These questions are important. Then we have this question from the end, find the 20th term. This is what I was discussing in the solved example as well. This is very, very important. So kindly go through this. Then we have the next formula, sum formula, that is n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. Sum of n terms, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. Or if you know the last number, n by 2, a plus l. These are the two formulas by which I can find out the sum of a series of numbers which are in AP. Now, in this question, example 16, kindly mark this. This is important. Go through this very thoroughly. And in the exercise, mark question number 4, very important. How many terms of the AP should give 636? This is important. Then question number 7 is important. Question number 9 and 10. Okay, this is important that an, this is 3 plus 4n. You have to put the value of n, 1, 2, 3 and get the series. And also question number 11. So these questions 4, 7, 9, 10, 11. Please go through this. These are important questions for the year. Then we have some word problems. Kindly go through this question number 19 about the 200 logs stacking. All these can come also as case studies question because we are expecting a case study question in arithmetic progression, one in coordinate geometry and one in heights and distance. This is the probability. It can come from other also. Those who are doing the standard paper in maths, kindly go through the optional exercise as well. And here we have question number 1, which is important here. The first negative term, to find the first negative term, we will use a plus n minus 1d less than 0. This condition we will use. And those who are doing standard, it is better that you do the optionals because I get many queries that do we have to do the optional exercise or not. Now in triangles, the most important thing is the theorem. Without theorem, kindly do not go. There's only one theorem. That is the most important theorem here, basic proportionality theorem, also known as the Thales theorem because it was given by a Greek mathematician by the name of Thales. In the first exercise, you have only 1 mark questions. You can go through that quickly. And this is what I was talking about, the Thales theorem, very, very important. So you can expect it is for 5 marks. So kindly do not leave it. Write down this theorem multiple times because this is the most expected question for the year 2024. So go through this very, very thoroughly. Then we come to the questions of this. The second exercise has some basic questions on using BPT and converse of BPT. So question 1 and 2, kindly do that thoroughly. And as far as the questions are concerned here, you have all the questions here based on BPT and the converse of BPT. But here we find that you can mark this question number 7, question number 8 as important questions. Question number 7 and question number 8. And then we have the conditions for triangles to be similar, AAA, AA, SSS, SAS, and so on, proving of this. So in the second exercise, we have a couple of questions which are important. So here there are some theorems given. All these proofs are not required. But here you will have this solved example 7. Kindly go through this. This is important. Girl of height 97 centimeter. This can come as a case study as well. Go through that very thoroughly. And example 8 as well. Question number example 7 and example 8. Then we go to the exercises. The important questions here, if you are noticing here, there are quite a lot of questions here. But the important questions here is question number 5 is important. It's a simple question, but at the same time, it is repeated quite often. And here you have question number 11 important. Question number 11 is important. Question number 12, 13, and 14. 14 is very important. Many people get confused between 12 and 14. Make sure that 12 and 14, you know how to do it, because don't mess up the two. They appear to be similar, but actually it is very different. And besides 11, 12, 14, you have here the question number 15. This is a application question of a vertical pole casting a shadow, and then a tower. We have to find the height of the tower. So this is important, question number 15. So that's about triangles. Then moving further, we have coordinate geometry. In coordinate geometry, we have the first exercise based on distance formula. So we will definitely get a question on distance formula, and the important questions for you in the first exercise is the questions where the point is located on the x-axis or the y-axis. So the first question is a 1-mark question, find the distance between 2 points. But these questions are very important. That is question number 7, question number 8. Okay, question number 7 and 8, find a point on the x-axis. Now remember, when you are talking about a point on the x-axis, this point is always taken as x, 0. And when we are taking a point on the y-axis, that is taken as 0, y. So that's why this is important, because many of them don't know what is the coordinate in the x-axis and y-axis. And similarly, 9 and 10, these are important question, 9 and 10. So the last 4 questions are important. In the second exercise, we have questions based on the section formula. Now, in the section formula, there is a ratio given, or we have to find out the ratio. So here, the question that is important for us, I'm just telling you, let me take out that exercise. Yeah, this is very important. Example number 10, very often asked. 3 coordinates is given. 4th coordinates 1 is a variable which is missing. Question is find the value of P. So here we have to make use of the property that diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Many of them use distance formula and mess up the whole question. It's not a question of a distance formula. It's a question of midpoint formula where diagonals bisect each other. In the exercise also, we have a question based on this. So here we have the ratio question. So this question number 1 and 2 are important. Question 3 is important. It can come as a case study as well. And here we have question number 5, which is important. That is because it's x-axis. 6, very, very important. The 4 parallelogram vertices are given, and there's an unknown here. You have to find out this. So these are important. And question number 10, find the area of the rhombus. Those who have forgotten, area of rhombus is half diagonal 1 into diagonal 2. Okay, so this is important. And here, going further, we have trigonometry. In the trigonometry, please remember, complementary angles was cancelled. So we don't have to do any angle besides 30, 45, and 60. So it's quite simple that you will not get 10 degrees and 20 degrees. Many of the sample papers are still showing those kind of questions. You need not do all those. Now, coming to the exercise of trigonometry, of course, the formulas are very, very important in trigonometry. Here we have some questions given to you. So here out of this, we can say that question number 5 and 6 are quite important. And out of this, question number 10 is very, very important. Okay, question number 10. Please make sure that you are doing this. Very, very important questions. And all the true and false, some people leave. This is actually should be done because MCQs can, take into consideration all these small questions. The values should be known 0, 30. You should know how to make the table. Those who don't know how to make the table, kindly see the video that on trigonometry that I have uploaded earlier. So how to make this table is important. This table will not be given to you in the exam. Either you learn up the values or you should know how to make the table, because any question based on 30, 45, 60, 90, 0 has to be done using the table. So here we have 8.2. So here we have some important question here. The important question here will be question number, here, let me show you here, question number, yeah, this third and fourth part are very, very important. Please do this. And this is, of course, MCQ. This you need to do because MCQs are 20 marks. And question number 3, very, very important question. Question number 3, very, very important questions. Then we go on to the next exercise. That's the last, that is the trigonometric identities. Now, in the trigonometric identities, there is a very important example. That is example number 12. Please go through this example 12. It's important. It is a question based on conversion to sec tan. So we'll have to use sec square minus tan square theta is 1. That's why that's important. MCQs, every MCQ you should be able to do. And then proving of identities. Here we have quite a few questions here. And we can expect identity from the book only. So it's these, part 5 is important for you. Part 6 is important and part 8. These are very important questions, and 3. So 3, 5, 6, and 8 are important questions. Then we have the next chapter, heights and distance, from which again we can expect a case study question and also a 1 marker. So you can have small questions in the beginning of this chapter. You have smaller questions which carries less weightage. So you should know all the values, especially the tan values, because most of these questions are using tan. Example number 5 is important because some people are not able to make the diagram by reading the question. They are confused between sun's altitude is 30. Actually, they are mentioning about the angle, and many people are not able to understand what is the sun's altitude. So it's important that you understand this. The shadow becomes 40 meters longer as compared to when it was 60. So this is 40, and then you have to find out the height of the tower. So then mark that example very important. Then example 6 is also important, multi-storied building and 2 buildings of different heights, right? So this example 6 also, kindly do this. This is a building, 8-meter tall building, and there's another multi-storied building. And remember, most of these questions are 30, 45, and 60, and you are using tan. And as I told you, these first few questions are 1-mark questions. And towards the end, you will have the important questions. So here, important questions among this is question number 10, question number 11, and question number 12. 10, 11, and 12 are the important questions from the exercise. And 13 is important, and 15 is very, very important. It's slightly different. That's why it's important. So 10, 13, and 15 also kindly go through this, because here we have to find out the distance by using the formula speed into time. The distance is not given. So 15th is the most important question here. So this is done. Then we go to circles. Again, in circles, we have very, very basic 1-mark questions which you should know. So the first exercise, you will be having the first theorem, that is angle between radius and tangent at the point of contact is 90. Kindly go through this theorem. All theorems should be done, whether it is in triangles and circles. We have 2 theorems. This is the first theorem. Tangent at any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius of the point of contact. So kindly do this theorem, circles, and all this fill in the blanks. And this is all 1-mark questions. Kindly go through this. These are all going to come for MCQs in circles. And the second theorem, you should know that length of tangents from same external point to circle are equal. Okay, this is the second theorem. And that also should be done. 1 theorem is expected. And here we have very, very important, please note, example number 2, very important. And example number 3, very, 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 very important. Go through example 2 and 3 of the circle. Very important questions. And these are again, as I told you, 1-mark questions. Go through that. But our important questions for this chapter is definitely question number 8, question number 9. These are two very important questions. Proving AB plus CD is AD plus BC. And this result also is used sometimes for 1 marker. Suppose this is given 10, this is given 11, 12, this is 11. Find out BC. So you should know that the sum of the opposite sides AB plus CD is the same as AD plus BC. So kindly go through this question. And here, if you go to the last few questions, question number 11, 12, and 13, these are important questions. So if you are looking at this chapter, the solved examples are very important. The MCQs are very important. And the few questions that we have marked from the exercises are important. So about 10 questions you have to prepare from this chapter circles. Areas related to circles, most of the stuff is cut. You just need to know some formulas. Basically, area of sector, pi r square theta by 360, or half length of arc into radius. And area of the minor segment and area of major segment, this you should know. So most of the questions that you will see, example 2, kindly go to this, very important, because here you are having 120 degrees and many people don't know what to do with 120 degrees. So here, if you are using the formula pi r square theta by 360 minus half r square sine theta, you should know that sine 120 can be substituted by root 3 by 2. And there is also a question in the exercise where 120 degree is. And in this, the important question is the clock question. Please go through this, very, very important. And of course, minor segment, sectors, all these are important, 4, 5. These are important. And as I told you, 120 degrees, very, very important question, right? So sector and segment, we can expect definitely one, either sector or segment. Then this question number 13 about the 6 designs that is being formed. So what you can do is find the area of the circle and subtract the hexagon, or you can divide it into 6 equilateral triangles. So here we get this part as the segment. So find out the area of one segment and multiply by 6. You will be able to find out this. So area of sectors and segments, the very small 2 or 3 questions can be expected, nothing much. Surface area volume, kindly go through all the formulas, because still I'm finding that many students are not sure of their formulas. Kindly do that, very, very important. Otherwise, you will mess up, because if you are applying a wrong formula, you will not get the answer. So here, question number 2, example 2 is very important. That is a hemisphere which is made on top of this is a cube, right? And the question was find the total area of the block. This question kindly go through, very important. Rocket question, very important, also can come as a case study and also as a 5-mark question. So please go through this very, very thoroughly, because it's a tricky question. Example 4 of a bird bath is important, because many people are finding the area of the base and adding it to the bird bath. So that gives you a wrong answer. Please go through this. If you have done all this beforehand, then it becomes easier to solve on the final exam day. Here in the first exercise, we have a few important questions. That is this one, that is a cone mounted on a hemisphere. So a cone mounted on a hemisphere. Here the total height is 15.5. Remember, this is the total height. So we have to find out the height of the conical part. The radius is 3.5. So remember, the radius and height of a hemisphere is same. So you will subtract 15.5 and 3.5, and height of the cone therefore will become 12. So this is very, very important. And question number 4 is also important question. So the first exercise has got question 3, 4. And if you look at this question number, this one, 7th, very important question, and question number 8. So these are the important questions of the first exercise. And in combined figures, remember, do not use TSA. You will use curve surface area of the first figure and add it to curve surface area of the second, right? Example 7, kindly go through this. Example 7, examples are very important. And here, the important questions, go through this question 3, because it has a little bit of calculations. So don't get confused, go practice this. Question number 4 is important, about the pen stand. And this question number 5 as well, very important question, where water is being filled and 1/4 of the water is flowing out. And then in these questions, you have question number 6, which is important, right? So these are the important questions for surface area volume. Then going to the next chapter, statistics, mean, median, and mode. The most scoring, I think, in all the chapters is this. And this is also you can expect as 5-mark questions. So kindly practice. All are mostly of same type. So find out the mean by using assume mean method, step deviation method, or shortcut method. All the three methods are taught to you. So you need to practice these questions where missing frequencies are given. That is slightly different. Okay, so what is the important question? See, these are all normal questions, but question number 3 is very important because the mean is already given and we have to find out the missing frequency. So this is one question which you need to practice thoroughly. And another question which you need to practice is this question number 5, because here the class intervals are not continuous. So you can make this continuous by subtracting 0.5 and adding 0.5. Subtract 0.5 to the lower limit, 49.5, and add 0.5 to the lower limit, upper limit 52.5, like this. So before doing the question, you need to do that. And there's one question, question number 7. This you can practice because this values as in decimal. So some people find it difficult to do this. And if you are having any issues in solving any of these questions from the textbook, remember, all my videos are on the channel. Go to the playlist and every chapter is solved. So you just have to refer to those videos, right? And going to the next part, that is the mode. This is a very simple formula. Mode is L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 multiplied by H, which is the size of the class interval. So if you know how to solve any one, you will be able to find out 3. So all are one question you can practice. If you know one, you can do all. Now median, again, these have got some tricky questions. So we need to understand the tricky part of this. That is, one is the missing frequency, of course. And here, the median formula, L plus N by 2 minus CF by F into H. So this question is important here. That is example number. This is example number 8. The median is given 525. Find the value of X and Y. See here, the missing frequency. Example number 8, a very, very important question. This is very important. This is called empirical formula. Empirical formula, this is very important. Mode 3 median is mode plus 2 mean, or we can say mode is equal to 3 median minus 2 mean. Okay, it's the same thing. Mode is 3 median minus 2 mean, or 3 median is mode plus 2 mean. This you should know, because sometimes in the exam they will ask you find mean, median, and mode, and that becomes a long question. So you can find any two and use the empirical formula to find the third. Or it's a 1-mark question. You know, sometimes they will give you the mean and mode, and the question is find out median. So you can use this. So this is called empirical formula. Okay, the empirical formula. So this should be known so that you can find out the third if the two are given. So in this median, this question number 2 is very important because the median is given and the question is find out XY. This is important. And question number 3 is important because here the class intervals are not given. You have to find the class interval. And if you look at this, these are not the frequencies. These are the cumulative frequencies. So you have to find out the frequency and then find the median. Okay. Here the class intervals are not continuous. So make it continuous and then solve the current question. So question number 2, 3, and 4 are very important in this exercise. And then we come to the last chapter, that is probability, which is an easy chapter. Here, 1-mark questions are what is probability of a sure event, what is probability of an impossible event, what is the range of probability, what is the sum of probabilities. All this you will be able to do if you are doing the fill in the blanks of the first exercise here. Okay, so if you this is very important, how to make this table for 2 dice. So remember, when you are throwing 2 dices, there will be 36 outcomes. And when both the dice are showing same numbers, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, these are called doublets. And probability of a doublet will be 6 cases are there, 6 out of 36. So this is very important. Whenever question of double dice comes, please do that. So this is question number 1 is very important that you do this fill in the blanks as well, because these are all 1-mark questions. In fact, the starting chapter is all 1-mark questions. So here, which of them cannot be probability? So you should understand that negative value cannot be probability because all values of probability will lie between 0 and 1. So these are all very simple questions. And of course, the most important things about this chapter is the dice, coin, and cards. So you should know the card formation. All questions of cards can only be known if you know that there are total 52 cards divided into 4, right? So we have 13 clubs, 13 spades, 13 hearts, and 13 diamonds. You should know this. And clubs and spades are black. So we have 26 black cards, hearts and diamonds, 26 red cards. So you should know the formation of this. The first card is ace, represented by A. Then you have the numbered cards 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you don't have 11, 12, 13. You have jack, queen, and king, which are also called the face cards. These are known as the face cards. So this formation you should know. Unless you know the formation, you will not be able to do these questions on cards. And of course, double dice, I told you 36 outcomes, single dice has 6. One coin has 6, one coin has 2 outcomes, 2 coins has got 4 outcomes, and 3 coins has got 8 outcomes. So questions on that. So that's about the trigonometry. And I hope by doing this, at least your basics of the NCERT will be covered. It's quite possible to do it fast because we are not doing the entire book. We are doing only the selected important type of questions in the last few days. And after this, if you get time, then finally go through the Cbse sample papers. So on this note, I want to wish every student who is giving the board exam, maths board exam for class 10, all the very best. I am sure you're going to do very, very well. Just be confident and attempt all the questions and keep the time. That is very important. Keeping the time. Don't spend too much time on the 1-mark question. Keep a time on the sections that you are doing and complete your paper and do not leave any question. Attempt it. If you know the formula or if you know something, kindly attempt it, because if you don't attempt, that's 0. If you attempt something, you may get a half mark and or 1 mark, and that adds up to your tally. So all the best. Thank you. And I hope this video is going to be useful for people who are preparing in these last few days. So thank you and all the best.